Alright, so in this video we're going to try to unlock all of the skills for our character in Shadow of Mordor. We will build on our previous video where we unlocked infinite arrows for our character. Um, so first off, go to go to Cheat Engine and in the settings page under debugger options, make sure you have the VEH debugger selected and not the Windows debugger, because setting breakpoints with the Windows debugger is causing the game to crash. So if you use the VEH debugger, you don't run into that. So make sure you have that selected. Open up Shadow of Mordor in Cheat Engine and load the associated table as well. This should load up the address which you found last time for the arrows, and just freeze that so that you can use as many arrows as you want. Shadow of Mordor assigns skill points to your character every time you level up, which you can use to unlock any of these skills. And each level up consists of certain experience. So as you can see, I need 819 experience points to reach the next level. So that's what we're going to be trying to manipulate today. We need the game to think that we have more experience than we actually do. And there's probably a lot of ways you can do this, but uh, the most convenient way for me right now with my level of comfort with Cheat Engine was to trick the game into thinking that each kill was assigning me a lot more experience than it actually was. So for example, if I killed an Uruk or an Orc, which gives you 15 experience normally, I'll try to trick the game into thinking that I actually was getting 65,000 experience or something in that range, and that should get you to max level in no time. So um, there's other ways to do that. I'm sure. This is just the first way I was successful um, in, and so that's what I'm showing you guys. So our initial value is unknown, so we're just going to scan for an unknown initial value first, and then we need to change it so that we can observe an increase in that value. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to kill an Uruk, and that way we know uh, the game shows you how much experience you got for killing someone, so you can tell Cheat Engine to look for a value which has changed by that same amount, and by repeating that process we can narrow in on our experience value. So that kill gave us 15 experience, and we're just going to change our next scan type to increase value by, and set the increased value to 15 and just perform the next scan. This can sometimes be slow, especially on slower PCs like mine, but yeah, it looks like it's not going to take too much time this time, so that's good. We end up with a few values, like 1,500 or so. We're just going to repeat this till we get to a reasonable amount. So I'm going to go into the game and just kill someone again and rinse and repeat. So that gave me 15 experience again. Um, Sometimes you get more experience than that for liberating slaves and stuff, so you need to be more vigilant. Anyway, you can see you get 3 values after scanning for stuff which is increased by 15, and um, from experience I know one of those, well, experience as in I've done this before, one of those lower values is bogus. So it says it has 511 stored in it, and when you add that to 789 you get 1300. So it makes sense, like 511 is the current experience uh, you have for your present level. So I'm at level 3 and 511 experience, and every time I kill something that goes up, and when I reach the cap for the level it loops over back to 0. So next I'm going to set a break. Well, I'm going to attach Cheat Engine to the game and see what writes to that address. So just right click on one of those addresses and select find out what writes to this address so that we can find out the actual instruction which writes to it. If you find no instructions after the next step, just perform the same steps with the other value, because I know one of them leads nowhere and the other one is the one we're looking for. So we go in and kill another orc, and that should show you the exact instruction which changed your values. As you can see, this is an add instruction and it's modifying our current value. So open up the disassembler so that you can see the function which performs this, and we're going to set a breakpoint here to get more information on this function. So just right click and select toggle breakpoint, and the game should break the next time it tries to modify our XP. So go into the game and kill another orc. If I could only stop sucking. Okay, so we hit the breakpoint, and you can see the value in it's trying to add the value in our EBX register to the address stored in whatever the first part of our assembly instruction is, and you can see that EBX, which is the lower 32 bits of RBX, I think is 0F, which is 15. So it adds up. Like the game is trying to increment your experience by 15 points. So what we're going to do next is use this handy cheat engine tool which lets you inject code. So we're going to go to the tools menu and select auto assemble, and then we're going to go to the templates menu and select code inject and just select OK, and this gives you a handy template where you can see the existing instruction and add to that instruction. So you can see the jump. What a cheat engine is doing is, instead of adding to our experience, it's inserting a jump instruction at that point, so that when the game tries to execute the old instruction, it jumps to our new code, and then we can return to the original code, and that way we have our own custom behavior. So it lets you add new code and it lets you keep the old original code as well, as you can see under that label. So I don't need the original code, I'm just going to paste it under new code and modify it slightly. So instead of taking the value from the register, I am using 10,000, which translates to 65,000 approximately in hexadecimal. Well, that's 10,000 in hexadecimal, and it would be around 65,000 in decimal. So each time the game tries to modify the experience value, they're going to get 65,000 experience points. So just inject that and go back to your game. Run the game and go back and kill something, and you should, well, you don't even need to kill something because it took effect with our last kill. We gained 17 levels just from that kill, because the game thinks we killed something worth 65,000 experience points. So yeah, go ahead, kill something, and see what happens. In this instance, I forgot to take the breakpoint out, so I'm gonna hit that again. Just going to toggle it off, and run the game again. And you go back to your upgrades menu and see that you're at level 29. It might wait. It probably is level. Sorry, it probably scales and gets harder to level up the higher your level is. So the second kill only gave us 6 levels or so. So yeah, you should have access to all of your skill tree abilities. Some of them are locked because they require a certain power. Follow the process we adopted for experience to hack your way around power as well. It's slightly more tedious because it's not as easy to increase your power, so it takes longer to isolate that value. You need to find uh, your enemies, well, your bosses. These bosses, which are fairly easy to find, they find you if you're roaming around on the ground, but still you have to defeat them, and just a little more tedious. But yeah, you should be able to follow the same steps to maximize your power level as well. And once you have that, you should be able to unlock everything on this tree. Um, so there it is. We're just going to turn off the game to verify that this persists between um, multiple runs of the game. There's no reason it wouldn't. Like, the game actually thinks that you've accumulated that much experience, so it's going to let you keep that experience. And we can go in and check our level again, and there we have it. We're still at level 26.